Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. How
Good
are you all
evening.
doing?
Very well,
So
very well.
sorry. Yeah, so sorry we had a big glitch today on our Instagram live session. So I and Aisha came up with the brilliant idea of doing this on Zoom and sharing the content with you on Instagram or on Facebook, wherever we're going to post it. So I think it's all for the better. It's going to be better than maybe better than what we wanted to do on Instagram, and it's going to be fuller. So we're looking on the positive side. My name is Eno Simon from Talking Early Years, and I have my very special friend, which I met on Instagram. Her name is Aisha Doris Mohammed. Aisha, it's good to have you on Talking Early Years
Yeah, thank you
platform today.
so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Hi, everyone. I apologize once again. I don't know what the problem is, but I know we have like some technical issues here in Dubai when it comes to WhatsApp and Instagram. I'm not too sure about the Instagram live, but I will find out what it is. And I'm sure we can have a repeat of this some other time. Thank you so
Some
much
other
for
time.
having me here. My name is Aisha. Aisha Doris Mohammed. I know some people will be like, why the Doris and all of that, but that's my name.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to ask you
Yeah,
why the Doris in the
that's my
middle.
name anyway, Aisha Doris Mohammed. So
Okay.
today we're here to talk about why children, toddlers especially, can't sit still, right? That's our topic for today. I
Yeah,
work with
that's our topic for today. Why your child can sit still.
a
Let's not limit it to toddlers. We can talk about toddlers and take it a step
yeah,
higher
just to
if we
yeah,
can.
it's fine. It's
Yes.
fine.
Okay.
It's fine. So my name is
Okay.
Aisha, and I'm presently living and working in Dubai. I work with an early years institute, Chubby Chicks Nursery here in Dubai. I started off as a classroom teacher here in Dubai, and somehow along the line, I moved to the managerial position in the nursery. But along the line, I found out that my hobbies or what really makes me happy is being in the classroom. I love to teach. So when this whole pandemic thing started and we needed to go online, I was one of those teachers who happened to be working online because it's something I have always loved to do. It didn't just start like that. I started off back home as an office administrator with a school, Green Park Preparatory School. I started off there. And after a while, I left, went into administrative in a corporate organization. And somehow again, I found myself in a school, in an early years center working with children. And I decided, okay, why don't you build on this since you keep finding yourself in this line? So I went in to do my postgraduate studies in education there in Nigeria. I did it there and decided to go into the line of academics. And somehow, I found myself again in Dubai, still doing the same thing, academics. And honestly, it's been an amazing journey. It's been interesting. My joy is seeing how children get to discover new things. You know, when you see the smile on their face, they are able to explore and they see things like experiencing new things. There's so much joy in their faces. And you know, when parents come with like, oh, my child is this, my child is that, and you're able to assure the parents that this child will be fine. So these are the joy I derive in working with children, putting smiles on their face and making families happy. So for
Oh,
me, it's something I see I am going to do over a long period of time. It's not just
for
going
the
to
rest
stop
of your
now. Yeah, yeah. It's
life.
something I want to do and
Keep
centered
doing.
around early years, just between the
Thank you.
ages of 4 months to 10 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that lovely background on your passion and your journey in education. It's lovely having you on Talking Earliest platform. I'm so happy we got to meet on Instagram when we got chatting.
Same
We
here,
realized that
same here.
yeah, I realized that even though you're in Dubai, we all have similarities. Our journeys are almost the same. And I know where you came from, the school that you worked in Abuja. I know your boss, Green Park School, and everything. So
Yeah,
it's an
yeah.
exciting time,
One other
preparatory
boss
school.
I
So
worked with, there's another boss I worked with, Status Cloud Earlier Center. I saw the passion and the drive in her, in which she used in working, Miss Ifoma, she was so passionate about that thing she's doing. So sometimes it's not just about the money, it's the passion you see that these people put into what they are doing. Some people do it for the fun, some do it because of the money, but some people do it and you see it's all about their passion. So Miss Ifoma and Miss Ronke and Miss Dorcas Ikea these are three people who really pushed me like, you can be anything you want to be. You don't need to just be like, I'm a banker and remain a banker. I'm a nurse and just remain a nurse. You can just think outside the box and work with it.
Take it from there. So those people inspired you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to have people along the way that inspire us to do great things. So today we're going to go straight into the discussion of the day, which is, why can my child not sit still? Aisha, I'm going to ask you a few questions and then you're going to just respond to it as much as you can, so we can share the information with people on our different platforms. So in your own opinion, Aisha, why do you think that children can't sit still?
Okay, for me, what I think, the first thing we need to understand is that as children, especially, let me bring it down to toddlers. We'll take from maybe ages 1 to 3, 3 to 5, or 3 to 6. So I'm going to start with the toddlers. I would say it's for toddlers, we should understand that they have a limited shelf life, which means when it comes to sitting still, asking a toddler to act like an adult becomes difficult. Because this sitting still is a process, is a skill that this child needs to acquire. Sitting is a skill. The child doesn't just wake up one day and start sitting down. So the child will sit. Remember, when the child starts sitting down, we use like pillows or curtains to wedge them so they don't trip or they don't fall off. So the child starts sitting. Okay, today the child is able to sit on his or her own without any support. And the next day, the child is able to move. The next day, the child is able to take steps. So is a gradual process. It's an inborn thing, it's natural. The child cannot be still. I would rather have a child who is active than to have a child who is not active. When a child becomes active, you know, okay, when things are not going right, this child is okay. There's something wrong with this child, because, you know, on a good day, this child cannot be like this because the child is an active child. So asking a toddler to act like an adult is asking for too much for me. So I can completely say that the child can completely acquire this skill with reminder from us asking them to be still. You need to sit down calm, you need to sit down, you need to be this way, you need to be this way. Constant reminder rings in their head. Oh, mommy said I should sit this way. Mommy said I should. Mommy said. So they always remember. They remember that. So many parents, and we require patience. As parents and early years tutor, we require patience. You will definitely see children who will run around and you will be like, what is going on here? But that's development for that child.
For toddlers, right? For toddlers,
Yeah.
between 1 to 2, sometimes when you say sit down here, it doesn't work. Like sit
Oh
down
no, it
here,
doesn't work.
yeah, it doesn't work. They'll sit
Yeah.
down for a few seconds and then they're up
Yeah.
again.
Their sitting
So, but
span, you can only get their attention minimum, maximum 3 to 5 minutes. If you get 5 minutes, try to get good use of that 5 minutes from them. So I will say, you need to check your environment. First of all, you need to check your environment. How conducive is the environment for the child? When an environment is not conducive, you don't expect the child to be still. Even as an adult, you walk into a place, the place is not convenient, you become restless, you want to leave. So for a child, first thing we need to check the environment, you know, after acquiring that patience that we need to get to get them to be still and all of that, because you keep telling them, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, come here, come here. You don't say it with anger, you say it with love. You preach it to them with love. You make them understand, because they even want to know, why do you want me to be still? Why do I need to be still? But I need to get this toy. I need to move from this point to the other point.
Yes, I need to get this toy, because
yeah.
they don't understand, why should I be sitting
Why
still?
should I just sit down? That is when you start hearing, but I want to. But miss, I need to get this. But mommy, I want this. So we need, in telling them to be still, you also tell them the reason why you want them to be still at that moment.
And also we should check if they're able to be still. Like,
yes, I raised.
But why do you want them to be still at the moment?
Yeah, there were some points I raised, and I said that it can, for many parents and early years teachers, struggling to manage children who seem to be constantly on the move. Sometimes it can be hard. It can be really, really hard.
Yes, certainly.
Why is it not possible for this child to just be still and concentrate on one thing? It is only natural that toddlers are not able to sit still, because it is a
very natural.
Yeah, so
absolutely
they have to keep practicing the sitting skill until they become pro in it, or they become perfect in it. And this can only happen gradually. There's a process.
Yes, certainly.
There are developmental milestones you need to check. So we need to, I think sometimes we need to share this milestone with parents so they don't get too worried or worked up. All you just need to do is just go back and check the checklist. What is he or she not doing, or what is he or she doing? Is this right? Is this wrong? Is the child supposed to be active or not active at this age? Is the child supposed to be sitting still or not sitting still? And you know, the thing is, for toddlers, unconsciously, they pick up what we do, what we say. The act of monkey do, monkey say. Whatever the monkey sees, the monkey does it. And you know, they know how to mimic. The monkeys, they know how to mimic. If you want to know how the monkey mimics so well, try reading the story of the capsule and the monkeys. They mimic everything, everything. Any gesture you do, body gesture, they also want to do it the same way you have done it. So for toddlers, is what you do, they see it, they copy it. What you say, they try to mimic you, the way you say it, the way you move. And so who is to be blamed? They see you doing this thing and they are doing it, and you want them to be still.
Oh, they see you walking around and you want them to sit down. So why should I be sitting still?
So it's always like that. So, and they learn through movements. They learn through movement, exploring. They want to explore everything, because this is something that is new to them. They don't know what it is. They were born, they came into the earth, and they were on bed, lying down for some time. After lying down, they are sitting. After sitting, they are crawling. The next thing is to walk, and when they are walking, they want to be everywhere. Like, they want to explore everything. Everything. So for me, what I would say, during this period, when you notice your child is always like trying to explore, adventurous, the child is adventurous, all you need to do is child-proof your environment where the child is. Safe-proof the place.
Make it safe.
Yes. Keep anything out of their reach, where they cannot reach it. Things you know are delicate or very dangerous, you know, put them away. But just, they need space, actually. What they need is space. Is that space?
I remember, Aisha, I remember when my daughters were younger, I took them to a stadium, right? You know how big a stadium can be. So there was a program at the stadium. So I was one of those who went there early. That was like many years ago. So when I got there, I just put my toddler on she just started walking, the younger one. Once her feet touched the ground, Aisha, she was all over the place. Like, she wanted to explore the whole stadium. She was like moving from one place to the other. So you can see that for toddlers, once they have space. They need
Space.
space to
Yeah,
move,
yeah,
and they
they need
need to
space.
move.
Yeah.
Once you see them, like you can't put them in a confinement. How can they
No, at
practice?
all. That's why
And you
this
can't limit them.
pandemic,
How can they
this
practice?
pandemic period, it's not a good time for some parents at all.
Yes.
It's not. So I would say to parents, if you have the space, try to create different corners for them. Dress up corner, sensory corners, literacy corner, numeracy corner. Create corners for them in that space. When they are tired here, they move to the other.
They move to the
Yeah,
other side.
they move to the other
Once
side.
they're engaged, their
And
movement
even
doesn't
you as a
bother you.
parent, you will have
You
peace of
have peace
mind
of
at the
mind.
end of the day because the child is
Yes.
learning, the child is
Mm-hmm.
giving you peace, the child is not
Mm-hmm.
disturbing you. And
No.
before you know it, 7:30, that child is on the bed. And that child
Uh-huh.
will have good sleep, maximum 12 hours sleep.
Because they've enjoyed themselves and they've
They've
expended all that
exhausted
energy.
themselves, yes. So have
They've
like
expended
sensory
all that
corners.
energy.
The child will be like, okay, what is all about the sensory corners? You have the rough sensory activity, smooth, different sensory activities that these kids can actually go there on their own and do something.
As long as it's safe. Anything that's
Yeah.
so tiny that can be
No,
a
no,
choking
no.
hazard,
Keep it
you
away.
keep those things away.
Yes.
The reason why you keep those things that are so tiny that could be a choking hazard away, so that you can have peace of mind.
Peace
That's
of mind,
one.
yeah.
Number two, so that you are sure that your child is
He's
safe.
safe. Good.
If your child isn't
Very
safe, there's no
important.
peace of mind for you.
Yeah.
So make sure that there are no tiny or small objects that
Objects
your toddler
around.
can pick
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Let the place be, like I always say, let the environment be well prepared. Let it be safe.
Safe.
Let it be secure,
Safe.
spacious.
Safety.
If you don't,
Safety.
Aisha, if they don't have spacious environment, they have a small house.
They
What
can
can they
still
do?
do
What can
it.
parents do?
Okay, for a small house, where you have a small house, we have recycled materials. As I speak to you, I have lots of recycled materials in my kitchen, in the washroom. Why do I keep these things? Because there are times that my daughter wants to do some activity. What you need to do, show her a video of what she wants to do. Now, most of the things my daughter does is she'll tell you what she wants to do. She has like a phone or a tablet where she gets to watch this thing. I'm telling you the truth, I can sit down 1 hour, have my meeting, and she will not disturb. Because she has her pencil with her, she has her crayons. You can see her making sketches. It might not look beautiful, but she will tell you what she's doing. When you ask her at the end of the day, she can tell you what she's doing, that she drew a lion. This is a lion, this is a penguin, this is a dinosaur, this is you. But I know I have my peace of mind. I just tell her, okay, I need to do something now. I need you to be on your own and do what you need to do.
How old is she?
She's 5.
So she's within the bracket that we're
Yes,
talking about.
yes, she
So yes,
understands
she's
now
within the
that, okay,
bracket.
I need, and their maximum time between 3 to 5 years is around 20 to 25 minutes. They can sit on their own within 20 to 25 minutes.
Once they're engaged in something
Engaged,
interesting.
yes, yes. Even
But
when
if
I'm
they're not
having,
engaged,
yeah,
they're going
when
to be
I'm
all
having
over
my
the
online
place.
classes, she has a table and a chair. I just give her something to do, and is it that she's sitting on her own doing what she wants to do, or she's in the room and I'm in the living room. So you get them
So
engaged in a good way that becomes productive. She's not missing out on anything, and you are not
no,
like, oh, I need to go back to work with this child.
no.
You're not in a hurry.
Yes, certainly, Aisha. Now we've talked
Also,
about toddlers and children, typical children,
yeah,
how they work, how they need children need space to walk around, and
yeah,
toddlers especially need to practice that skill.
yeah.
And they're very curious. Once you make the place safe
Safe,
and
so
spacious
safe.
enough, they can stay on an activity for a long time.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
if they stay on one, they are not satisfied, they
They
move to
move to
another,
the other
to,
one.
to
So
another
you
one.
asked
So
the
if
question for small houses and people who stay in like
yes,
small, get this recycled materials, go online, check for things. It sounds like it's so much of a big deal. Honestly, if you I don't know, maybe it's the passion in me. So for me, it's not a big deal. These are things that I can quickly check, you know. Even if you're not an LES tutor, you can just go online, check for activities for 1 to 2 years. It could be sensory activity. There are water play. The weather is getting hot. Oh, for us here, it's really hot now. So they can do water play. You don't need to go to a big swimming pool to do water play. You can do
As long
water
as you
play
keep
at the
you as
comfort
long
of
as you
your,
keep
yeah,
as
the
long as you keep
at the
eagle
comfort
eye
of your home.
supervision on that child.
Yeah.
With water play, you need to keep eagle eye supervision on the
Oh
child
yeah. And
because
it's not so
children
much
can
like it
yeah,
shouldn't be water that is too much. Just put water in a bowl.
yeah.
Give them animals. They could do washing the muddy animals, washing cars. You are also enhancing their fine motor skills by engaging them in these activities. So it's not just like, oh, just go and play. No, you are enhancing their finger muscles because for some
And
of
that
them,
is very key.
1 to 2 years, their grips are not firm yet.
Uh-huh.
So the moment they are a Play-Doh is another thing you can give to them, edible Play-Doh. Children love Play-Doh. They love Play-Doh. Ask them to make anything with Play-Doh. They will do it.
Very, very, very interesting. Now, these are the normal developmental milestones and
Yes.
patterns for children. The things that are expected of children. Are there some reasons, some other reasons why children can't sit still besides the normal developmental track?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
there other reasons?
There might be some reasons, but I want us to look at this thing. You know, sometimes people are quick to say a child can't sit still or the child cannot pay attention. Uh, they quickly reach out to say, okay, this child is hyperactive. This child has like ADHD without checking.
Uh-huh.
How do you know this child has ADHD?
Uh-huh.
Attention deficit hyperactive disorder. How do you know?
Uh-huh.
Only a therapist can tell you that. I
Uh-huh.
cannot tell you that. I will only observe
Yeah.
the child. I will observe the
Uh-huh.
child, give you my observation reports.
Uh-huh.
And if you need to see a therapist, you need to go see a therapist. Now, these
Uh-huh.
children, most of them they are confined to like not being still or not sitting still because of very little things that we take for granted.
Uh-huh.
If a child has a routine like moving around, the child, a 3, 4 years old knows that my routine in the morning, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I take my
Uh-huh.
food, I get ready for school. I need to go to school if I need to go to school. And when I get into the
Uh-huh.
class, especially in the classroom, they know what their routine is.
Uh-huh.
The moment you don't take them to the play area, there is going to be problem.
Because they missed
Because
that
they
step
know, yeah,
of
they
the
have missed.
day.
So it's just like an adult. You know, I wake up in the morning. If I don't go to the gym or I don't do my morning exercise, my brain is not
Uh-huh.
booted.
Uh-huh.
The same thing for children. So let's look at those points which I raised, those points I said,
Uh-huh.
the underlying factors aside the natural one that we are
Yeah.
looking at. I jotted out
Yeah.
some of my points. I jotted them down somewhere. Yes, I think, yeah. So the first one is your child's high level of activity, where you say your child postural muscles might not be able to uphold him for an extended period of time.
Period.
We have muscles that are powerful for a short time and responsible for fast burst of movements. That's the fast burst muscles. That's the one that prompts you to quickly move into action. You just, before you're sitting with a child, before you know it, something just prompts that child and the child is up on his feet and outside the door. And you're like, oh, he was just here. Now, for children like that, the children who move around because their muscles can't hold them upright, they rely on that fast burst muscles. It's something sudden and energetic, like I said, you immediately, which is why they need to move. We need to support them to build their core strengths. That way, they overcome these challenges so that they start staying still. So you need to support them.
How do you do that?
It's a gradual thing. You need to tell the child why the child needs to sit down. You need to help them exercise those muscles. They need to move. They need to move around. So when it's time for play area, 20, 30 minutes, you take them. They don't need to be at the play area for a long period of time. They are exercising those muscles. So the longer they stay without doing those movements, those exercise, that is when you see them, they become hyper. They start moving around. They become edgy. They become itchy, like, oh, something is, you now start wondering,
Off.
diapers are not wet. The child just ate. The child just drank water. So what is the problem? But because that muscle has not been exercised
Not developed properly
at
to
all,
hold them
it
up.
needs,
Because
yes,
that muscle is usually around the abdomen, the pelvis, and the
the
back.
back,
A lot, yeah.
the
So a
back.
lot of
So
exercise, a lot of
needs to be
movement.
done. So it's not something that
Mm-hmm.
will take them 1 hour. Just little by little, you just stretch it. Little by little, you keep stretching it, and that's it.
Just by keeping them
Yeah,
very
take a
active,
child
giving them
outside.
activities that allows them to
Yeah,
exercise those
yeah,
muscles.
true. Take a child
Good.
outside for 10 minutes and bring the child inside. The child is calm. Confining them to a space is a problem. You can't do that for
Yeah,
so long.
yeah,
So you need
big
to
problem.
stretch them, help them exercise those. There are things they cannot do on their own, but because you know it, you have to help them. Take walks, make them run, make them jump, do this balancing exercise where they have to stand, stretch out their arms and move. Just something simple to keep them together. It's
Okay.
like,
What other reason?
so the next one, a child may not be able to turn down the volume on certain sensation.
Sensations.
Yes, our environment is full of sensations. They are unimportant to how we function and how we survive. Most of us are able to ignore, adults are able to ignore and pay attention to the most important one. But for children, they are not able, they cannot even identify which is important or which is not important. So the ability to filter might be part of the problem because they are not able to filter which of the sensation they are supposed to attend to and which not to attend. It becomes a problem and they are all over the place because they cannot filter it. They can't filter it. So what if a child cannot turn down the volume on sight, sound, touches, and feelings that are part of their environment? They may be over-oriented to sound. They become over-oriented to sound and a visual input in their environment and feel the need to investigate everything. They want to now know everything because they are not able to filter anything. So that's inquisitiveness comes in. Your 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 volume.
Okay, so yes, I was saying that because they are being exposed to different stimuli in the environment, they
Yes.
cannot differentiate, they
Which is
cannot
important,
filter which one they want to listen to or which one they
which one,
shouldn't.
yeah.
So they begin to respond to everything at the
Everything,
same time.
investigate,
So
explore everything at
yes,
the same
so
time.
so they become
They are here.
overstimulated.
Yes.
They become overstimulated. So that is
Yeah.
why it's not good to make your environment too overstimulated. You don't have too
Oh,
many bright colors.
no, 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 no. You
Even
tone
that
it
there's a
down.
kind there's a there's
Tone
a
it
kind of
down.
music you should play. If you play just those hippie, hypey music, you see it affects the way children feel, and they begin to move around.
Behave
But if you
that
play
way.
like, yeah, but if you
Aggressive and
play,
all of
yeah,
that.
if you play very calm music, I've heard that if you play very calm music, it even helps you, it soothes your nerves
Yeah,
and
okay,
makes you
like
feel more relaxed.
what we do in the school every Wednesday is called Wellness Wednesday for us. And what do we do Wellness Wednesday? We do yoga with the kids, we do painting, is more of a relaxed day for the children to do activities how they want it in a different way. They do. And how do we achieve this? We have like music we play for them on that day at the background. It's just so soothing, so calm. And you see everybody, even you as a tutor, you will be so like, oh, these kids are having fun, like you want to be a child again. So you need to understand who you're dealing with, what they need, what sensation do they need for that environment and at that time.
Okay, so we're saying don't overstimulate your
No,
environment.
no,
Don't make
at
it very
all.
noisy,
No,
very,
no, it
even when you're
shouldn't
talking
be.
about colorful, let it not be like
Oh
contrasting, sharp
no,
colors.
tone
It
down
can
the
turn,
colors.
yeah, it can trigger
In as much as children
that
love,
need to move around.
in as much as they love colors, but there's a way the color becomes, when it becomes too much, they're like, they don't even see the
Happening
beauty.
here,
Yeah, they
like
don't
what's
see
happening
the,
here.
yeah, they don't see the beauty of what you have done at all. They
Mhm.
don't get to see it. So, these things are part of the things we need to pay
Pay
attention to,
attention to.
support them as they desensitize their body, to helping them concentrate on tasks. We need to help them too. We need
Mhm.
to calm them down, and help them to concentrate on tasks and learn whatever tasks they are doing completes. Not that the child starts the task.
That's another conversation for another day. For children to be able to start and complete a task, that's another skill.
Yeah,
Skill to learn for
yeah,
another
yeah.
conversation. Is
So,
very
but
and a very, very
it
important
falls
one.
under the sensation. It falls under
Yeah.
it falls under. So
Mhm.
for the third one, I would say your child may not be getting enough sensory inputs from their vestibular processing system, which is known as the movement and balance. So if they are not getting enough sensory processing system, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem when they don't get enough of it. The system
So
is
if they
good.
get too much, is a problem. If they get
Yeah.
too little, is a
So
problem. So there
that is why
always has to be a balance.
according to the child's age, you need to know what is appropriate for that child. Just the same way we have appropriate learning materials for age groups, is the same thing here. Don't give too much, don't give too little. It shouldn't be less, it shouldn't be too much. It should be moderate, cut across border. It should be
Mhm.
moderate. So for me, this system is located in the inner ear, and it gives us information about moving. If your child is one of many kids who seem to be constantly swinging on their chairs, rocking back and forth, jumping up and down, and rolling around on the floor, their body may be seeking, your child's body may be seeking, I think I wrote it somewhere, yeah, this kind of input in order for the child to feel calm. The sensory, that's the sensory processing system, movement and balance. Movement and balance. This is, like we said, is the system located in the inner ear that gives us information about how we move, about space, and how we are able to manage the space. So if your child is not getting enough of these inputs, this is an order that the child is suffering from. So you need to check that if the child is getting enough or not getting at all. So it's either the child is getting too much or not getting at all.
How would the parent know? If a parent does, how would the parent know about what's happening in the ear and if what's
This
happening
is
with
what we just said, that
movement and balance
if your
system,
child is one of those kids who is always sitting on the chair,
swinging back and
rocking back
forth?
and forth, jumping and rolling around on the floor. So you see, these are
Mhm.
things that we can actually control on our own without saying that the child is hyperactive.
Mhm.
Before you start running to go and, because I have seen most children and they'll be like, oh, it's a special need. But by the time you start with the child, The child is able to communicate. For me, when a child is able to communicate, especially when it comes to communication and language, and that child is not 5 yet, I always tell parents there is nothing wrong with your child. The child pace might just be slow. The learning pace or the developmental pace of that child might just be slow. Now, you need to check yourself as a parent too. Are you high? Are you on the, how do I put it now for parents? Because what I do, I segment my class into 3. High achievers, average, and the low achievers. That way you know how to work with this child.
That's differentiation for you
Yeah.
to be able to manage your
Manage
classroom,
the
so that's
classroom.
easy.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
becomes
so
easy.
it's
But when you
easy.
have a child who is sitting, jumping, throwing, and all of that, you know where to place the child and you know how to work with the child.
There's a time when it becomes too long and it's too much, and so if parents get concerned, I think the best thing, instead of you to
See a
slam a
therapist, see
label
a
on the
specialist.
child, see a special needs person that can
See a
assess the
specialist.
child.
But if the
Yeah,
child
assess
is
the child and
able,
tell you what's up.
true, like I said, as long as the child is able to communicate, the child, because these children know what you are saying, they understand you. They just have their own 2 different personality when they're at home and when they're in school. Yeah, when they're at home, they know they can get away with anything. But when they're in the school, they know they need to do this, they need to follow in routine. They will follow routine. So when parents see these habits or these traits in their children, you know that your child may not be getting enough sensory inputs.
Stimulation,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you need to work on that. You need to
Yeah.
really, really work on that. So, and it's just like think of an adult who feel right unless they start, like I explained to you, an adult who wakes up in the morning and doesn't feel right that, oh, my day is not going well because I didn't do this first thing in the morning.
For those who take coffee, I didn't take coffee, or those who
Yeah.
exercise, I didn't run
So,
today, or those who do
sometimes
this,
we're at work and we're like, today I feel, I don't know why I'm getting tired already.
lightheaded.
Yeah, I have slight headache.
Uh-huh.
I was like, maybe there's something out of our routine that we have just missed.
Not done.
Yeah, so when we take these things, when we do this thing, we just notice that the brain begins to work well and everything just falls in sync. Everything falls in sync. So I will
But
say
if it
that,
becomes an issue for parents, the advice is let a special needs
see a
person
specialist.
assess your child.
See a specialist. Yes.
But if it's not an issue,
As crazy as it sounds, a child who can't still still might just be seeking movement in order to feel better. Just,
stable.
yeah, just move around. Like I said, just 5, 10 minutes. Just allow them exercise themselves. And most times, don't tell them it's time to come back in. They get tired and they come back.
Okay.
Because the moment you start telling them, no, it's, you need to go back, you see them, they say, but I still want to stay, I still want to do this, I still want to do this.
So even if we have to follow routine, there's a time for everything, but
Oh
there's
yes,
also a time to be
yes,
flexible.
yes,
You know, that there's
yeah,
also a time to be flexible. Let children have that extra little time. There are
time,
some times when you need to just stick to it and say, okay, it's time for this.
yeah,
And
and
promise
so,
and promise that they'll have another opportunity
yeah, you
to
know,
play around and explore.
true, true. You now start being like, okay, don't worry, you'll get to do it another time. We're still coming out tomorrow, the next day, you still come out again. It's okay, clean up now and let's go in. And you see them, they're excited because you've promised them that there will be a repeat of it the next day. So
Okay,
they're looking
Aisha.
forward to it.
Yes, certainly. So we're looking at two things now: natural progression of development for children,
An
and sometimes when
underlying issue.
there might be an underlying issue. So in summary, now I wanted to just give like closing words for what should be the natural thing that happens for children that parents should look out for and not be worried. When should a parent be worried?
Okay, if you feel your child is not sitting still and your child is not 3 yet, it's not something to be worried about. It's not anything to be worried about. It's just natural. It's for you to take out the time to be able to speak with the child, let them know why you want them to do this, why you want them to sit down, and remember that motivation is a huge drive to attention. You need to motivate them. Uh, some children can sit down to play Lego for longer hours, and some cannot. Some cannot do it. It's not because they don't want to do it, but there might just be something wrong, which we have, just taken for granted. So it is advisable. It's not only teachers that should look out for what is wrong in a child. Parents also should look out for what is wrong in a child and bring it to, bring it out like, I noticed this. You speak up about this and not just keep quiet. You notice it the first time, the second time, you can say something about it. So for me, I would say parents should try to secure their environment. If you have space, like I said, movement is a major thing when it comes to development. It's one of the learning areas, the physical development. The child needs to move. The child needs to stretch. The muscles need to be exercised. For these muscles to extend longer time, they need to be stretched. It cannot be stiff. So you need to help them, make a routine for them even at home. Take them on walks, make them do exercise, engage them, try to create corners where they can, play. If you have different corners, make the corners in different areas, not in the same place. You can have your, like I said, the sensory corner, have it, make your, if you have children who are not up to 4, 5, in fact, if your kids are still up to 5, you should have like a mini nursery in your home. When people come in, they'll just know, oh, this one has a child. Because you need to engage the child. The child cannot just sit down. It's going to be difficult. So we need to work together. You need to do these things. It's easy. You can go online, you can check these things, DIY activities you can do with your kids at home. They can't get all the training from school. They will get a lot from home. So we need to, look at, be cautious of the way we speak, the things we do around them. So for me, I think it's so easy. It's easy. It's when you see signs that naturally, these signs are not natural signs. That is when you start panicking. You start getting worried.
That's very true. So that's very true.
If you have a child who is 3 years and the child is not writing, it is not a problem.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem. I don't know. People make it an issue. For me, it's not an issue. What you need to check, what are the developmental milestones, physical development of this child? Is the pencil grip, is he firm? Is he able to color? Is he able to sketch? Are they able to shred using baby scissors? Those are the things you should get worried about, and their communication and language. Is your child expressive? Can the child express him or herself? And not that the child is not sitting still. This is just natural. It's natural anywhere. 1 to 5 years.
Wow.
Until the child gets to 6 years, that is when the child become like fully conscious of their environments, of themselves. They become aware of, oh, I need to be like this. Oh, I need to do like this. But when the child is barely let's say from 8 months to 5 years, please just take it easy. Give them a slack.
Take it easy. Yeah. Aisha says, please just take it easy.
Take it easy.
Just let the children move.
There are times when it gets to me and I'm like, you need to sit down calm. You need to be quiet. You need to be this. And the truth is that from the moment you wake up in the morning, from the moment the child wakes up in the morning, you will talk till the child goes to bed. As long as the child is with you at home, you will talk. But you just need to be patient. It takes patience. It takes patience.
Wow.
It takes patience,
wow.
And whatever you do, just do it out of love with them. They understand, they know. There are times when they will You know, they just go away. They have done something, and you are like, but I asked you to sit down still. They will go away and come back and give you a hug and say, I love you, and just peck you and just go away. But that's why they are children. So we just
That's
need
why
to,
the children.
yeah, we just need to take it easy, and just be calm with them, and put on the garment of patience, and just follow
So
them.
you're saying in essence, patience is key.
Oh yeah.
Patience is key. So we've heard a lot from Miss Aisha this evening. She's poured out a lot of tips and ideas for parents and educators out there who are working with children from birth to 5. So Aisha is saying once your child is between 1 to 3 and they're moving around, please don't give yourself a headache. It's a normal thing. Don't
Just make it
worry.
fun for
Or
them.
make it fun, keep them engaged, create some corners in your home,
Yeah.
set up a playroom like I did. I've been doing some lovely playrooms for some parents in Abuja, and the kids are
Wow.
loving it. Every time I go there, the thing is almost the same and as new as ever, and the children love it. Parents who come in and say, wow, I love this playroom. So
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Aisha is also saying, set up a playroom. Let that be a place that's dedicated for your children.
And make
You may
it
not have
safe.
to fill it, yeah, you may not have to fill it up with so much.
Oh
Just make
no.
sure that there is a place where you can have some easily accessible material, recycled
Yeah,
materials.
especially
If
movable
it,
materials that you can
yes,
change. You know, this
yes,
week
you
you
can
can just
change.
change it. Make a team.
Yes,
You can have a team this week. Check what's happening.
yeah,
What's the season?
ar-
What's happening around the world now? You know, make
yeah,
something for them and just allow them to
and just
have
have
fun.
fun.
Have fun.
When it becomes an issue, when you know that the child has passed a certain age and the behavior doesn't seem like
Oh
typical,
yeah.
what's
That is when
typical,
I
then
get
you
worried.
know the red flag, and then you can consult a specialist. Don't label your child. Don't assume anything. Go to the special needs
Speech
person to check
therapist,
to
yeah.
do just to do an assessment to tell you.
Assessment, yeah.
Sometimes you may be worried that my child has this, but when you go and do a special needs assessment, there may be nothing. They
Nothing,
just
yeah.
tell you, oh, this or that, because I've
True.
had experiences of working with children with special needs, and sometimes it's nothing, but sometimes it may be something. And
Something. Yeah.
when you identified early enough, you're able to provide the early intervention to support that child. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to call in special needs people who are specialists in working with children with special needs or any kind of disability to talk about how to identify what are the signs, what should parents see that would make them
Worry.
worried, what should give them concerns, what should be the red flags. So a special needs educator or a therapist will come in on Talking Early Years to tell us what the signs are, what we should
What to
notice
look out
and be
for.
worried. Yes, and then what we can do about it, so that we're not just working ourselves up for something
Sure.
that may not be an issue. So parents, teachers all over the world, we had a lovely guest from Dubai.
Oh my God. Unfortunately,
Instagram live did
Instagram
not
live
let
didn't
us go
work.
on live, but we're here. We are going to share this video on the Instagram live, on our Instagram pages and Facebook and maybe YouTube, and people get to watch it. Thank you
Okay,
so
yeah,
much,
no
Aisha
problem.
Doris
And
Mohammed.
there's some,
It was a,
sorry, please, there's something I wanted to say. I wanted to say
okay.
that people who work directly with children should at all time use the best practice. And what's the best practice? Think it, say it, write it, and read it.
That's a teacher for you.
So you just think it, you have to think it before you say it, and after saying
Mhm,
it, you have to write it. Then you read it.
mhm.
So that way, you know you are in line. So
Thank you so much
thank
for
you
those last
so much.
words.
Thank you so
It was
much for
good
having
having
me.
you
I
on
really
here.
wish the Instagram live worked, but
Not a
let's see how
problem.
it goes.
Sometimes it
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Say hi to your baby and say hi to everyone in Dubai.
Thank you so much.
Whenever I come to Dubai, I'll check you out.
No problem.
Okay?
No problem. Not a
All right.
problem at
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you
Not
so
all
much.
right.
Bye,
You're
everyone.
welcome.
Okay.
Bye.